Rick Bucher from the West Coast. And Rick, so we're hearing all this Lakers stuff. Certainly they have a gigantic budget in terms of their salaries. What's going on with LA? What's the point that we're hearing them in the news so much, the defending champions?
That budget is where it starts. They have the highest payroll in the league at over $91 million. And because of their performance against the top teams in the league, particularly Boston just recently, the feeling is we have all this money invested and we may not be good enough right now to win a title. So do we make a move that will improve us in a smaller way, such as getting an improved defensive player like Steven Jackson, who right now would be an upgrade over Ron Artest? Or do we look to the future and say, not only do we want to upgrade, but we need to have a new star that we can build around, and that would be a Carmelo Anthony. So they're working on two fronts, but it's driven by the same thing. We have a ton of money invested in this team, and as of right now, it does not look like the best team in the league.
All right, Kobe turns 33 on August the 23rd. There's a lot of questions about his knee, how much cartilage, if any, is in there, and how much longer he can really last. Carmelo's 26, so you really think there's a lot to this. This isn't just some sort of chirping going on mid-season as we approach the All-Star break, one of the toughest stretches for players to play in. You think this is real?
Yes, no, the league, the feeling around the league has been that where Kobe Bryant is in his career right now, that they need to have another bona fide go-to guy on that team to help him get through the season so that you can still take advantage of just how devastating he can be in the postseason. But asking him to be their main go-to guy almost exclusively through the course of the season and then carry them in the playoffs as well is simply too much. And if you look at the history of when those two guys have played together, not only would Kobe benefit, but Carmelo Anthony has played some of his best basketball when he's been with Kobe Bryant on Team USA. The feeling is that as good as he is, Carmelo as that number two guy on a team is really the ideal situation to have him in. And Carmelo has said, while he certainly made New York obviously first and foremost the place that he wants to play, the reason is because he wants to play on the big stage. And the Lakers certainly could afford that.
I don't want to make predictions because anybody can make a prediction. More likelihood what could happen with Carmelo Anthony as the trade deadline approaches. In your mind, usually more an educated guess in terms of salary cap and personnel, where do you think he'll be trade deadline day?
Honestly, everyone around the league still believes that as much talk as we've had, that he will finish the season in Denver, because there are some other elements here. And the fact is that, number one, Denver wants draft picks and the pieces to rebuild if they're moving Carmelo Anthony. Well, if you're trading him for picks now, you don't know what those picks are. They're first-round picks, but you don't know where they stand. If you make a deal after the draft lottery, or at least after the season where you know the percentages, you have a much better sense of what kind of draft picks you're getting back.
So sign and trade more likely, Rick, you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Unless it's a deal that knocks their socks off at this stage. The feeling around the league is that they would be, they'd probably be pushed to doing a deal after the season as opposed to an in-season deal.
All right, great stuff as always, Rick Bucher. Thanks so much for calling in.